Okay, I think I found my camp. Got lots of water access. I want to be nice and toasty tonight because it's going to get cold. It's going to get down into the 20s more than likely at this elevation. Maybe by tomorrow morning, might actually be getting snow. But I got a pretty decent canopy here. Pretty good wind break through there. These two trees right here are where I'm going to put my ridge line. It was kind of uneven right here. Anyway, I leveled this out, even maybe made it a little bit of a pit, and then got some pine boughs and laid down in there just to kind of get that cold ground off of me. I've also got my pad. I got my sleeping bag. I've got one of my 100% Bulgarian wool blankets. And I'm going to put this tarp up. This is an 8x10. Low to the ground. I'm going to get some river rock and build my fire pit right here after I get my tarp up. I have Mylar glued on the inside of this camo tarp. It should be nice and toasty inside that shelter. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so I got a few hours still. Set up camp, get wood, and I'll be pretty hungry by then. Get that fire started. I can be out here in this shelter all I want, but if it's 25 degrees, it's going to be frickin' cold. So, but one thing at a time. Let's get a cover up. It's October 2nd, and I'm up here in the mountains. You can't see it, but there's snow up there. Here's my camp. Took me a while to get everything set up the way I wanted it. I'm not adept at doing this kind of thing just yet. I had to procure firewood. There's not much around here, so I had to go a ways to get it and drag it back here, and because I wanted to prep for a cold night. I don't even know if I got enough there, but some of it's already over here. I kind of built kind of a long fire. I am going to be sleeping right in front of the fire, which is cool and warm all at the same time. The reflectant underneath, it should kind of keep that heat in there. Whenever I make my setup, the back of the tarp kind of pushes in like that. It kind of takes away space. So what I did, and not my idea, but what I did was I took a little stone from the creek and went in from the inside of the tarp and kind of wrapped the tarp around the stone there, and then I had a piece of cordage ready, and I basically tied a square knot around it, got it nice and tight. I already had a bowline knot in there, so I attached another piece of cordage and ran it up to that tree, and basically what it does is it pulls the tarp out away from me. It's not going to lay on me. Again, it's going to be a cold night. I'm thinking that I might be okay, but I'm going to hold off and make dinner kind of late, something hot and something good, and then get the fire going and get some of the wood over here close to where the head of the sleeping bag is, and that way I can reach over and toss wood on there. So hopefully I won't be too cold. My sleeping bag is rated at 15 degrees. I've got a air mattress inside. You can see the orange of it poking out right there. It's got air in it, and right now the down is filling. Brought one of my 100% wool blankets, and so what I've decided to do is put the blanket inside the sleeping bag with me, and I think that I ought to be pretty toasty, but I will let you know with an update at night, or if I sleep good, maybe I'll let you know in the morning. GoPro is at its limit. It's got scratched limbs, but the reason I'm saying that is because of that right down there. You won't be able to see it probably, but it's sitting on one of those rocks. See it moving? It's dipping its head. See, watch it. See how it bounces? That is a dipper. And I'm really excited about this, and I'm so sorry that I don't have a better camera to zoom in on it, because I saw something the other day that I'd seen before, but it didn't really catch my imagination the way it did when I watched the other day. Saw it on Netflix, and it was a documentary about these two people that spent a year out in the Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness on the Salmon River. And one of the first bits of wildlife that they showed was the dipper. That is so cool. If it doesn't show up on video, I'm going to be so sorry. That bird is the same color as everything else in that water. And for good reason, protect itself. Well, we're starting to have a little more success with the fire. So since I got this going. I was going to cook this on the fire, but wasn't getting any cooperation from it, so I decided, we'll go ahead and just put it on here. And what that is a half a container of red beans and rice, Cajun style, with about a half a kielbasa. It'll be very good, but you might want to give it a stir here. I had to turn the stove down a tad. See if we can do this without spilling it all over everything. That doesn't have too much longer to go. Keep the old lid on there. Keep it nice and hot. Probably let it go for another 3 or 4 minutes and then stop. And this is bannock. You know what bannock is, right? It's basically like a fried bread. I have half a cup of flour, a pinch of baking soda, and a pinch of salt, and about a tablespoon or so brown sugar, and bacon grease, along with about 2 pieces of fried up bacon that's all chopped up in there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it around this stick and stick it over that fire now that it's going, and let it cook up, and it'll be really good. This is cooked, but we want to keep it warm, even though it's sitting on the stove. The stove is no longer hot, and it's cold enough out here that we need to move it. So we're just going to set it right here. That'll keep that warm. This is my bannock. It's not done in the middle. I don't mind it being gooey, but I would like it a little less so. But I kind of had to take it off with a stick because it kept sliding off. It's got a lot of bacon and bacon grease. And that's why it's so good. Very acceptable. As is that fire now. Well, the bannock was good, even though it was undercooked and slippery. But this is red beans and rice with kielbasa. Just a half a package of the rice and half a kielbasa. A lot of meat there. And it darn near filled that whole canteen cup up. I've had 4 or 5 bites out of there. But it's pretty darn tasty. Well, it's about 8:15. I decided to go ahead and get in my sleeping bag. It's like an oven in here. And there's my fire reflecting in here and reflecting off into the fire log. It's very, very toasty in here. And I'm really kind of digging it. I'm going to do a little reading. And hope it doesn't give me any nightmares. and I'll see you later. Okay. It looks more like Christmas than October 3rd, huh? Morning, everybody. It's 8 o'clock, October 3rd. Did a little camp out last night in my tarp up in the Sawtooth recreational area, and I knew that the forecast was possible snow for in the morning, and there you go. Even though my fire went out at 11 or 11:30 last night, I stayed so warm. My sleep system, or whatever you want to call it, basically consists of my Big Agnes Lost Ranger sleeping bag that's rated at 15 degrees with a Big Agnes pad, and self-inflatable pad. I threw some pine boughs underneath the tarp where the bed was going to be to kind of insulate me from the ground. And then I took one of my 100% wool Bulgarian army blankets, brought that and put it inside the sleeping bag with me. And I actually had to open that sucker up a couple times last night. Man, that is such a beautiful scene, isn't it? I wish you were here.